6 AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. Exi, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Share it with your friends. If you are enjoying the content, share it with others. It does really help out. But as always guys, we've got a bunch of markets to get through and a bunch to talk about. What is up? And Zena, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Scalping, my man, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. All right, cool. Well, enjoy your breakfast. Good to see you, my man. Hope you are doing good. What's up, Excellence? Welcome to the stream. Good morning. JPJ, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Savvy, good morning. Hope you're all doing good. So as always, guys, drop any charts, any pairs, any trading opportunities you're looking at or currently in. Share it with the chat, with the stream if you are wanting to do so, or discuss, see what's happening in the markets. I am in a position on pound USD at the moment, which we shall go through. But as always, we'll start with the USD side of things first. DXY, USD majors, gold and silver. We'll go through a bunch of that. And of course, I do want to share with you guys our purpose platform as well. But as we start, let's take a look at the dollar. Do you have a very interesting day today, of course. FOMC in the evening, or at least evening UK time. And we do have CAD interest rate as well. Do not forget that. Then pound tomorrow, and the yen the day after on Friday as well. So a very interesting end to the week this week. But as we start, DXY really did sell off a cliff this week and really made the direction pretty clear to us. Really strong move, especially yesterday as well. Really commanding candle breaking through the lows. So at this point, it just looks like price is likely to continue the trend, likely to continue what we've been doing since the start of the year pretty much. I'm pretty sure we're trading at the highs here, Jan 2025, and that trend simply is just continuing. At one point, I was favoring a counter trend move. I was looking to see if price can form a higher low and perhaps see another swing back to highs, because we were showing signs of fatigue, but we never really got that momentum going, and price just consolidated in this area. So I was waiting for price to give me that commanding breakout to tell us that, okay, the momentum stepped in, possibly now we could see the higher low. Never happened. Price was really flat, and of course we have broken to the downside. So especially intraday, I think the opportunities are pretty clear, because this is the low I'm expecting price to take out, which we haven't done yet. So there's still opportunity, there's still direction for not pound USD, for DXY. So in terms of an opportunity, it would be nice to get a pullback into an area like this. Now, will we get a pullback there? Possibly. Again, as a trader, it's all about just being ready for the opportunity. Sometimes the pullback will be very shallow and the market will just keep dropping or keep flying. Sometimes you'll get deeper pullbacks, more complex pullbacks. You're going to have to maneuver around those opportunities as well. This would be nice. We have been very consistent with these lower highs. Starting back here, we had a high there, another. So it would be nice to catch, let's say, another swing high, coming back to retest prior structure, and hopefully a new swing through the lows there. So that would be like a really optimal opportunity on like a 4-hour or hourly time frame. In terms of like a 15-minute chart, momentum is clearly bearish right now, and looks like we're going through a bit of a counter trend line correction here. So a nice opportunity could either be waiting for a strong break of that and entries on the counter trend line break, taking advantage of momentum stepping into the market, or perhaps maybe a push back to highs, maybe dropping even lower, trying to catch a reaction at the highs there to anticipate a move down. Of course, a bit more of an aggressive opportunity, but you have the expectation that the trend is in your favor and price should reject highs if we can see confirmations to back that up, of course. But yeah, it would be nice for a bigger pullback on dollar, but really bearish, and I wouldn't be surprised if you just go and take out the lows this week, even today, especially with FOMC coming out. I do think we'll see some more weakness on the dollar. Again, the reaction could be interesting though. We could see FOMC come out and then a bullish reaction to that and then weakness step in. Or of course, we might just see the market potentially just plummet. But yeah, I'm pretty bearish on the dollar. Euro USD, however, I'm not so interested anymore. The price has just seen some new highs here, so I'm not so interested with taking advantage of a trade anymore. I liked Euro coming into the week as we were steadily creating higher lows. I was kind of waiting for price to show some momentum, really break resistance, and we did that, I think on Monday, yeah. Start off the week really bullish, so I liked how pound US, I keep saying pound USD because I'm trading it. I liked how Euro USD was getting, but the only thing I didn't like about Euro, which I mentioned yesterday, was risk to reward, and the opportunity is just a little bit minimal because we've got highs right above us. So in terms of pullback opportunities, there's not a lot of room to operate in, which is why I was liking pound USD, which we'll take a look in a second. But there's not a lot of room to operate in. And now that price has made a new high, am I still interested to keep buying Euro USD? No, not really. We've done our job. We've seen the new swing high. Price has created new highs. Now I'm kind of backing away from Euro and kind of just waiting for development with this one. Is the market going to now have a bigger pullback? Is the market going to continue this momentum? That's kind of what I'm waiting to find out with Euro. I would still say I'm bullish because momentum's up. We're still seeing higher highs and higher lows. You know, price could still very much retrace here, bounce and continue. But I wouldn't be so eager to jump into the market straight away. I'll wait for things to settle down, especially with FOMC in the evening. Wait for things to settle, see what price does, and how we do continue. But yeah, if you're looking for Euro opportunities, I'll probably wait for a pullback here. Personally, not the biggest fan because of where we're trading. As for pound USD, I did jump into a long position on the 50-minute chart. This is my first kind of live pound, well, not live pound USD, live 50-minute trade I've done in a long time. But I'm doing some experimenting at the moment with the 50-minute chart and the hourly as well, particularly on the major pairs. And yeah, I'm going to see how that gets going. But this is a trade I took this morning about an hour ago or half an hour ago. I took it 9:30. Was that 9:30? Yeah, 9:30. So yeah, so about half an hour ago. So I entered this long position looking for a push back to highs. I'm very bullish on pound USD. I like what I'm seeing from a top-down perspective. Market looks like it's had a retest of this prior high, basically looking at the continuation of this trend. I'm very bearish on USD as well, so that should help pound USD push higher. I do think at the very least we'll see a push back to these highs here. So that's my kind of swing bias for pound. And now that we've made the big break of structure, which is price clearing resistance here, that's the key thing I was waiting for, price to break through resistance. Now we've got the green light to actually start buying pound and anticipating a move back into resistance. So I've got a couple opportunities I'm looking at. I was keeping an eye on this 50-minute trade here if we were going to have a shallow pullback and a continuation. So I've hopped into that position. But if we were to have a bigger pullback, I also like this area here. Of course, the retest of prior resistance. You've got a nice kind of demand zone, price consolidated, then ripped to the upside. I do think if you can see a retest of this area, this also would be a smart place for a buy. I don't want to see price come below this area. If price does come below, I'll probably rethink the bias or just become a bit more neutral. As of right now, momentum's here, seeing strength to the upside. As long as we can hold 1.356, I'll be bullish. So if this trade does fail, I'll look for re-entries down here. But my expectation is a push back into resistance for pound dollar. As for dollar CAD, really bearish on as well, but don't really have much of an opportunity just yet with this one because we are coming into a bit of a brick wall right now. Again, I do expect this to eventually come back to lows. Looks like somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern. Left, head, right shoulder. So I'm really liking the market structure. And I'm also liking where we're trading. You can see on the weekly chart, prices at major resistance once, twice, a third time. Looks like we're rejecting a fourth time. So once price breaks support, or if price breaks support, of course we're not guaranteed to do that, but if price breaks support, I do think we have a pretty clear path back down to these lows here. So that is very much the plan with dollar CAD, a push back to the swing low. I think we can go a lot further than that, but at least for now, we'll talk about that support level. So I am pretty bearish on dollar CAD. I like the opportunity, just not much of an opportunity right now because, of course, we are coming into support. So I don't want to be selling into that. But if we can break through or maybe have a deeper pullback and maybe form another lower high, that's something that could interest me. But yeah, we're probably still a couple days or a few days away from that forming. Aussie dollar, not really interested in this pair. Of course, on the USD pairs, trending more or less well to the upside, but I'm not so enthusiastic about trading it because, again, similar to euro, it's just taking out some major highs. So I'm not really interested in buying the market once this has happened. We'll come into some resistance applied to our left there. I anticipate a pullback. Not so keen on continuously looking to buy Aussie dollar at this moment in time. So yeah, I do expect more upside for Aussie dollar. I do expect more downside for USD itself. But is this a pair I want to keep looking to trade? No, not really. I'd rather trade pound. I mean, it's come back to a nice area. Relatively nice level of demand, strong push to the upside. We might find support and maybe rally on a 50-minute chart. So that's something intraday you could look at. But in terms of room, in terms of a big swing, I'm not quite convinced with this one. We've already seen a big swing. If anything, I'm more interested in a big pullback before we see some more upside. And the USD is interesting, however, because this one, although still trading resistance supply, you can see this is our previous swing high, which gave us this low. I do think there's a lot of upside for New Zealand dollar. I do think price could potentially come back to resistance here, but we do need to get that break of structure. And if price can get that, take out highs, I do like what I'm seeing there. I think the buys will look really good. I don't want to be buying New Zealand dollar right now. Again, I do think price is likely to break this area, but again, not the best time to be positioning yourself long because we could always see a push down first. Price rejects supply resistance. This is our former swing high, so this is definitely an area which buyers could be looking to take profit, sellers entering the market. Just not the best place to be finding clean buying opportunities. So what I'm waiting for is the break of structure and then pullbacks after that. And yeah, hopefully we can follow the trend. And as for gold and silver, well, pretty much same old. We have had a bit of a dip on gold, and I think we've had a bit of dip on silver as well. We'll take a look in a second, but this is still a very smart place for our buy. This bearish move is not giving us any red flags in terms of, oh, be careful, gold's about to top out. Maybe it is, but there's nothing there that would give me a significant sign that that's about to happen. The market's not going to just completely see bullish candle after bullish candle, even with this aggressive trend. It's going to have some dips, and you don't want to be deceived by that. As long as price doesn't really break structure or show any major selling pressure, like if we were to get a big candle like this, okay, that would be a bit of a sign. But these are smallish, medium-ish size candles, and the market still looks relatively healthy. So a retest of this area, I do think it's a smart place for a buy. Basically, this range here, we can focus your efforts a bit more on that area to be a bit more specific. But yeah, looking for a pushback to highs. I think we just hit 3,700, so it looks like price is reacting to a big psychological level. I still do see room to 3,750, which is a pretty big psych level as well. So yeah, still very bullish on gold. And as for silver, yeah, a bit more of an aggressive move there for silver though, so I would be a bit more cautious with this one. Again, I wouldn't start worrying too much about the trend. I would still say, if you look at the bigger picture, the market is still very bullish. I mean, we could drop all the way down here and the market's still healthy bullish. We're still respecting even this trend line, which has a really nice steep slant to it. So we could see a move there and the market's still bullish. But what I would say is silver is having a bit more of an aggressive move than gold, and not really nice and corrective. It's not slow. So I would be a bit more cautious with buying silver. I still like the consolidation here, a similar setup to gold, but I would want to see some really strong rejections to talk me into a trade. Otherwise, I'd rather focus on gold or just kind of step back a little bit, because this is a bit aggressive. Because at some point, gold and silver is going to have a bigger retracement. Maybe it is now, it could be, but I'm still holding that bullish bias for now. And there is some nice buying opportunities should we have a deeper pullback. I quite like this area here. The retest of the high, retest the trend line. that'd also be a nice swing trade. But again, we're probably about a week or two away from that opportunity. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the USD pairs going into the big one, FOMC, this afternoon. I do expect to see some more weakness. I'm pretty bearish on the dollar, so that's kind of my plan and the direction I want to attack in. What's up, Ivan? Welcome to the stream. Excellence, liking. Okay, not clear fundamentals for the FOMC. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it could be a safe bet to wait for FOMC to happen, and then tomorrow when things have settled, when the dust is cleared, then look for your opportunities after. That way, there's no kind of stress going into the news in terms of holding a position or anything. It's more so, okay, let's just wait for it to happen and then digest tomorrow morning and go from there. So that could be a smart play as well. Cease Integrated, what's up, my man? Hope you well. Lebsy, yep. Kiwi Yen, we'll take a look as well. Lenny, good morning. How's your morning? It's been good. Thank you. It has been good. Hope your morning has been brilliant as well. John, good morning, my man. 3 trades worked as predicted. Euro, pound, dollar, CHF. Nice. Well done. We'll keep watching USD. We'll do today at 7 p.m. Yeah, that's going to be the big one, isn't it? What is dollar going to do after the FOMC announcement? Yep, dollar US 30 we'll take a look at as well. Hey, what's up, FX Bashi? Welcome to the stream, my man. Hope you are doing good. Appreciate it. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe. It does really help out, and hit the bell and all that good stuff as well. Mike is so much better. Okay, cool, good. I think I had it on the wrong setting, to be honest. Yeah. Was a link for the challenge. Okay, yeah, that reminds me. I'll quickly go through the perps platform as well, and I'll share the link. So if you guys are not familiar, we've been working on a perps trading platform under our Zentrix project, which will allow you to trade perps on the platform. At the moment, we only have cryptocurrencies, and we are running a competition, which is still available to enter. Again, it's completely free to enter. It's just a bit of fun. There will be cash prizes for best performing traders, and just a bit of a way to engage with the platform, test it out for yourselves, and if you do well, maybe walk away with a reward. The link to the competition is that's the Google form for the competition. But if you are interested, drop your email in that Google form. And this is our platform, a trading platform, which we've been working on for the past few months. You can connect your Solana or Ethereum wallet to the platform, and if you don't have either, you can use your email, but preferably a Solana or Ethereum wallet will do a really good job, because in terms of withdrawing and depositing, very swift, very easy, no restrictions, everything's decentralized. So all settlements are done instantly. There's no request for withdrawal. Everything is done pretty much automatically. And the best feature of the platform, in my opinion, would be the AI feature, Miko AI, funnily enough. The AI version of me, if you will, but it will give you analysis in terms of sentiment, in terms of risk. It will also provide 4-hour setups as well. So if you're looking for ideas, this is a great tool to kind of generate an idea, or maybe look for extra confluence in an idea that you may already have potentially. So if you are interested in the perps platform and want to participate in the competition, you can definitely check it out. This is the Zentrix dashboard as well. I'll go through this a little bit later in the stream, but you can enter your email in the Google form. Okay, so we'll go through some requested pairs, bunch to go through. We'll take a look at Kiwi Yen. We'll take a look at gold as well. And we'll take a look at the Dow Jones. Hey, what's up, D-Mart? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Manzondi? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Samuel, what's up? Okay, cool. What's your take on risk reward? And could you go over entries again? Didn't really understand. Okay, I'll probably go into a bit more detail on that topic later into the video. Actually, no, I can kind of use my pound USD trade to go through that. So yeah, I'll go through, because I'm in a pound USD long at the moment. So I'll go through that position with that question or comment in mind. But in terms of just risk to rewards, win rate, it's just a balance between the two. I'm always in the favor of having a positive risk to reward, leveraging your wins, over your losses a bit more than win rate. Because win rate, at the end of the day, no one really has a say in their win rate. It's up to the market to dictate that. Of course, you can time your entries as best as possible, look for the best setups, be extra patient and disciplined with your trading. So you do your best to position yourself to, increase your win rate. But at the end of the day, the market's going to dictate that, by hitting your stop or hitting your target. Risk to reward, you have a bit more say in that by simply when you exit your positions, exiting early, exiting late, will all have a say in your risk to reward. And that's a little bit more controllable. Of course, the market's going to have its say on that as well. So I'm always in the thinking of showing priority to your risk to reward rather than your win rate, because a bit more control there. And if you're having bigger wins than your losses, it just makes trading a little bit more easier, especially if you're in a bit of a rut. Having those big wins can get you out of that as well. So that's really my thinking of risk. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, but just positive is a good place to start, and then you can build from there. Okay, so quickly go through gold and yen and the Dow Jones as well. So gold, I'm still pretty bullish, but again, it's to do with timing as well, because of the news later today. I wouldn't really want to be holding a gold trade over FOMC, especially an intraday position. I think that's a little bit too aggressive for my liking. Of course, potentially you could be in the right direction and happy days, but if it goes against you, especially if you have a really tight stop loss, you could get slipped pretty bad. And yeah, it's not going to be a great one to experience, but I am pretty bullish on gold nonetheless. We've had a really emphatic move to the upside. I like the momentum. We, of course, started to stall here at the highs. Haven't really seen much progression since then. And we're seeing a bit of bearish pressure coming into the market, but nothing alarming. Nothing like silver. Silver's slightly alarming. I wouldn't say I'm looking to go and short silver now. But we are seeing some bearish momentum creep into the market. But I still do like this area. Nice consolidation, really aggressive move to the upside. This looks like a really nice place for a buy. So I would suggest keep an eye on this area for some buying opportunities. Again, similar targets, back into resistance, back into the swing high. This is really where the focus will be. But the key element, the key component is how price reacts with this area. If, of course, we don't show signs of slowing down, maybe some wicks forming, maybe some bullish patterns, then you want to stay away. If we can see signs of that happening, then this could be a very nice opportunity. More so maybe tomorrow we can speak about this, because it's probably going to take, again, probably a few hours to get to the zone. And then FOMC will probably be coming out in a few hours after that. So you probably don't want to be entering trades just straight into FOMC. So again, probably wait for that news to happen, then come back Thursday morning with a bit more of a fresh kind of view on the market with the FOMC out the way, and hopefully some opportunities looking good. So that would be my advice for gold, which is somewhat what you suggested. And then, yeah, as long as we don't see price go and break through some of these lows, so as long as price doesn't do that, I will still retain a bullish bias and looking for price to continue higher. So yeah, pretty bullish on gold. As for Kiwi yen, so this one I still kind of favor more upside, but it's just not in a great place for a buy. Again, the daily chart shows that very, very well. So you can see we're coming back into resistance, coming back into supply. Not really the area which I want to be positioning myself along, because I am quite bullish on the yen pairs. I do expect more upside for the yen pairs. But this is not the best place to position myself along. If anything, this is where I should be looking to try and short the market. And we have been quite corrective on the way up as well. It looks to me that we're coming back into a bit of a counter trend line, which appears we might be breaking, but it's not a significant break. I'd wait for more momentum before really judging that breakout. Let's say if we can pick up some momentum, that could be a nice short on the break, or waiting for some pullbacks, yeah, as we go along. So yeah, in terms of opportunities, I would say shorts look good. Perhaps another run back to the highs. So let's say price can push back to the highs, then take some shorts in this area. That would be a smart place for a sell opportunity. That way you're back in supply, back in resistance. You're kind of looking to try and call the top of this bullish move here. So slightly a bit more aggressive. But the beauty of the trade is that if you find a good entry and stops in this area, and if the trade does play out, you're positioned very well to take advantage of maybe the reversal if it does play out. And if this does form a lower high, it could be a very, very big trade if that does play out, if that's what you're looking for. But even if it's just for a push and you're back into a prior low, you're still positioned well for that. If you're looking for buying opportunities, then as I mentioned, you would either want to wait for price to break structure, so break the high, then pull back, and in that case, our targets will be back up here, or probably a pullback into this area, back into demand, back into support. This could be an area where we go long. I want to see how we react, but that could be a nice area for a buy. This move looks pretty corrective to me, so I'm still getting characteristics of a potential pullback before we do see more upside, and that could take us back into resistance at 88.11. It could be a situation where you look for buys for some shorts later on. Buying opportunities back up, selling opportunities back down, that could be a nice play. But this would be bullish territory. We're coming back into a low. I know we're breaking the trend line slightly, but this is the key structure I'll focus on. If we break this low, then that's when I'll completely fold my arms with the bullish bias. But I quite like the bias here still, especially how corrective we're looking. So maybe a nice double bottom could be something of interest for a nice buy back into highs. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with with New Zealand yen. And as for the Dow Jones, this one is interesting. I like where we're trading. Yeah, this is very significant actually. I haven't really been keeping up to date with US 30, but I like what I'm seeing. Of course, the market is very bullish. We're seeing higher highs and higher lows. We broke through significant resistance a couple of weeks ago now. We had the retest of that as well, and prices now continued very well. So the plan is just keep looking for the buying opportunities until proven otherwise. You don't really want to try and be too clever, especially for the market in these bullish conditions, and especially with a market like US 30, which when it does get going, it gets going, like the S&P, like NAS. These guys can really just continuously rip to the upside, and we've come back to a very significant level in the 4-hour chart. You've got resistance, 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 and now you're looking for it to be used as support. And of course, you've got lovely confluence of the trend lines. Price has been really consistent with these higher lows. The plan is, can we see the next one form? And I think we could. And I'm looking a bit more intraday. I like how we're moving. This looks really corrective to me, so I'm getting the sign that this is just a correction as well for price to continue higher. In terms of entries, I would say we're looking quite flat right now. So in terms of a good trade setup, maybe a strong close outside of that could be a nice entry with some stops underneath the low here, and then targets back at the high, or maybe targets here for just managing the position, locking in some gains, maybe moving a stop to break even, however you see fit for the position. But the idea for Dow Jones US 30 is that we hold this level, and from here is where we see some upside. Of course, it's going to be an interesting one with FOMC coming up. The technicals to me look really clear in terms of a good buy, but I wouldn't be surprised if FOMC we see a wick to the downside and then the market pushes up. We could see that kind of shakeout before we do see the push. So be cautious of that. Of course, difficult to anticipate those things because maybe we do see it, maybe we don't. Maybe price does break to the downside on the news. There's different things the market could do, but from a technical standpoint, I really like the buys here. Momentum's not quite there yet, but I think if we can enter well, I do like the buys here. So yeah, very, very bullish on US 30. So yeah, I'm currently in a pound USD position on the 15-minute chart. It has been a while since I've entered the trade on the 15, but it's something I have been actively testing and actively getting comfortable with, and this is the first live position I've taken in a while. I have reduced risk quite a lot because I'm just getting up to grips with things in the 15, but I'm trading the same style, the same strategy, but just zoomed in on the 15-minute chart. So Simon, your question about timing entries, go over entries again, didn't really understand. Also, please, yeah, okay, I'll take a look at CAD-GEM, which is also another pair which I'm interested in trading. So yeah, with pound USD, in terms of timing entries, the main message of that video is understanding what strategy or what pattern you're looking to trade, and then being able to make sure that you're either waiting for momentum to enter the market and then getting involved, So waiting for the direction to become clear, then entering, or you're entering before momentum's entered and you're anticipating the direction. So for example, if the market is trending up like this, and then the market is now coming back down, there's two ways to really trade this. Essentially, every kind of strategy does kind of come around this. You're either waiting for momentum to enter, so clear signs that, okay, the market is about to continue, either buying breakouts of channels or even buying breakouts of the prior high. That's really kind of waiting for momentum to really enter the market. Then you're betting on the continuation of that. That's all you're really looking to trade with momentum. When you're looking to try and anticipate lows and trying to buy the dips, you're entering before momentum has really entered the market, before you kind of got the confirmation to say we're likely to continue. So you're more so looking to try and pick the lows here. This is more like a channel bull flag correction. You're trying to pick the lows here, which is more of an aggressive trade. You haven't really got the confirmation of momentum coming in, and price may still want to continue lower. So it's a bit more of an aggressive trade, but the benefits of this is that you do position yourself really well if the trend does continue. You can keep risk pretty small as well. And it does favor higher risk reward opportunities, because if you're waiting for breakouts, stop loss placements might be a bit difficult. Depends if you put it below a channel or below a high, or maybe below structure even, then your risk reward is very skewed. And you're a bit later into the position as well. So, and of course there'll be times where momentum does die and you're gonna have to look to close those positions early. So those are the two essential ways of trading, really. Pretty much every strategy does form around that in some way, some form. You're either waiting for things to already be priced in, momentum to be there, and you're backing that to continue, or you're waiting for it to bottom or top, and you're timing those reversal points. In this case, I'm looking at the latter, waiting for price to form a low and then betting on that being the low for continuation. So my entry was over here. This is the low that price took out. This is basically the channel I'm looking to trade, and I time my low at the low of the channel, the low of the flag pattern, essentially. So I'm looking now to bet on this trend continuing and coming back to highs. So that's my idea. That's my bet I'm looking to play. I could have waited for a later entry, which would, maybe the break of this channel here, then betting on the continuation after the trend line's broken. That would make me enter the trade a little bit later, but at least at that point, momentum's already there. There's probably a greater likelihood that we will continue back to highs, but maybe my risk reward is going to be a bit skewed now. And of course, momentum doesn't always continue too as well, so that won't always work. But that's kind of how I've looked to enter this position on pound USD. But essentially, that's all kind of your trading entries will derive from. So my advice would be to kind of pick a format, pick an idea, and stick to that. And you can chop between the two. I do chop between the two. Sometimes I'm waiting for momentum. Sometimes I'm waiting for price to bottom or top. But it depends on the situation. Okay, where were we? So CAD Yen, I can look at that one as well, no problem. Hey, what's up, Scalpy? Welcome to the stream, my man. Hope you're good. Long gold pre-FOMC, 10 pips stop loss. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let you you crack on with that one, Bashi. I'm not built like that. You long, I short. At least one person will win. Funny thing is, probably both will get wicked out. Good morning, Alex. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yes, we can take a look at gold as well. No problem, Lebsy. Happy to help. Samuel, hopefully that explained it and made some sense as well. Good to hear, Scalpy. Hope you're well as well. Yeah, I'm doing good. Life is going. Yeah, life is doing pretty good right now. I can't lie. Got some interesting announcements as well to make soon, which will be quite interesting. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But good to hear you're doing good, Scalpy. Okay, let's take a look at some pairs. So someone mentioned oil. Alex mentioned oil. Was there a pair mentioned before? I cannot. Yes, CAD Yen. We can take a look at CAD Yen as well. And we'll go through BTC, LFTJ, no problemo. Okay, so let's go through CAD quickly. So CAD is actually a pair I'm looking at. This one on the 4 hour. I like this on the 4 hour chart. It's trading at some interesting lows, which I'm looking to buy from. I'm waiting for another push down. Looks like we might be getting it actually, because I'm looking at this as like a bit of a counter trend move, a corrective move up. Potentially we're going to see some momentum now, going to attack the lows. And that's basically where I want to position myself long in this area. And then hopefully a swing back to highs around 108.894 if things go very, very well. But at the very least, maybe a push back to the high here, or I target the highs there. But this is where I'm looking to find some entries. I quite like the buys. We do have an uptrend on our hands. There is a possibility that maybe this could be a lower high in comparison to that high there. Maybe price does go for a bit of a sell. But I do want to see a more commanding break of structure here. Then I'll be looking for pullbacks along the way, because there's a long way to go. I don't have to necessarily be shorting at the highs or lows. I could wait for the trend to really shift on the daily first and look for entries on the 4 hour, potentially lower as well, and ride it back to lows. But I'm still very much focused on this up move here. So my plan is, how can I time my entries well? How can I get into the market at a sensible area where I can maximize my risk reward, but at the same time be safe? And because the market has been quite choppy, I don't really want to do any of my business in the middle here. That's where a lot of indecision is lying, a lot of noise, and I want to be away from that as much as possible. So the plan very much is looking for a push back into the lows here, and then the buy. And you can see each time price does take out a low, we do revert back to the upside pretty quickly. So if we do that again, I'm kind of betting on that pattern happening another time at the very least, and yeah, push back to resistance or maybe the highs there as well. So CAD looking for buys, but still need to drop lower, drive lower before I do start looking for entries, but that is very much the plan. In terms of oil's been interesting. I had a quick look before hopping onto the stream today. Price did manage to respect the lows here pretty aggressively. I did say I like sells back at the highs here. I think I said this maybe a week ago. I think last week, yeah, I think we were trading around here. I wasn't too convinced by the price action, so I did say if we can get another drive back into resistance, I quite like the selling opportunities, and price can potentially make a move to the downside from that area. So I do like what I'm seeing here, but it was a pretty aggressive move above it. So if anything, this could be a break and retest for price to go higher. So in terms of oil, it's a difficult one because I am bearish, but I don't like this double bottom here. I don't like the double bottom. I wanted the price to break through that, show me signs of momentum sustaining, bears successfully taking out lows. The fact that the buys held price really well there, and we're seeing some signs of momentum, doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to reverse, but it doesn't make it a high probability, probability opportunity. If price was continuously breaking lows and then having some really nice pullbacks, yeah, that's something I'd want to try and take advantage of. Now it's a bit more of a, is it doing this, is it doing that? I'm not too sure. I quite like the buys here. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the opportunity in general. The way I see oil in general now is that we're a bit flat. So really, I don't really want to be looking to trade oil right now. I'd rather wait for price to go and break the highs here. So go and take out this high and then look for pullbacks of that. Or price to go and take out the lows and show me that, okay, momentum is back with the bears, and then look for pullbacks of that. This would be high probability trending opportunities, because there we got direction in the market. Now it's looking for the pullback of that, and likewise at the lows here. In the middle here is going to be a bit more mean reversion, a bit more, you have to be on your toes a little bit, because I'm expecting a noisy behavior, as that's what price has been doing recently. But this was a nice kind of brief resistance and a really commanding break to the upside. If we can get a nice corrective pullback, this could be a nice place for a buy and a push back into resistance potentially. So that could be a nice trade. Again, maybe on like an hourly chart, back to a swing high. I don't think that's the worst opportunity in the world, because we are starting to print some bullish structure now. Low, high, higher, low, higher, high. Can we bank on another higher low forming? So that's not bad of an opportunity. Personally, I wouldn't trade it myself. As I mentioned, I would wait for this to happen, which of course could take a couple of weeks, at least potentially. But I'm looking to trade many different pairs, so I can afford to wait that long for it all to shape up. But yeah, I'm not entirely convinced. It's just really messy. And one of my rules is just not to trade in the middle of a range, because that's where the most noise will be. I'd rather focus my efforts at the high and lows, or wait for the breakouts, which in this case I think would be a smart idea. So yeah, not the biggest fan of oil, I must mention, at the moment. Okay, we'll take a look at BTC next, and then okay, take care, Scalpy. Have a good one, man. Busy road ahead, no problem. Take care. Glad to see you on the stream as well. Of course, that's a good motto. Live life with gratitude, and abundance shall follow. Love to all. Appreciate it, Scalpy. Have a good one, my man. Okay, we'll take a look at BTC. And I do want to show you guys the Zentrix dashboard and what you can expect with it as well. BTC, interesting one, interesting. We've seen some nice momentum. Price has continued, but we are looking like we're running out of steam a little bit. I did say buys look good this week after we had that breakout there. And the plan pretty much was a retest of this area, because we were kind of corrective. Had equal highs here too. Price was jumping around back and forth. And then we made a pretty commanding move to the upside there. So now the plan very much is, or was, looking for the retest of this area for a buy to continue. Because of course, BTC, bigger picture, very, very bullish market. Let's not get it twisted. Yes, we've had a bit of a dip. Yes, broken structure. But I still wouldn't go against that bias in terms of for the next big swing anyway. So with BTC, still very bullish on. This would have been a nice buy, but looks like we just didn't have enough energy to see that happen this week. We've created new highs, but we're lacking momentum. So maybe we do get the bigger pullback. Maybe that still could happen. Maybe NFP. Maybe FOMC could push us down, and maybe we do get the bigger pullback into that zone. We might not have tested it yet, but it's still an attractive level for a buy. And in terms of targets, I think keeping things relatively simple, just looking for us to get back to resistance around 120K. It's a big psychological level that I think that would suffice as a target. Looks like price is reacting to some resistance on our left there, which is probably why price is a little bit awkward at the moment. So I'm not really keen on any sells for BTC. I'll still be very much a buyer, especially after this move this week. I think from a swing perspective, that's what I would focus on. Intraday, it's a little bit difficult because of where we're trading. Having trouble at highs, not a good sign. I wouldn't be the first one into some pullbacks for some buys at the moment, because we're having such trouble creating new highs and continue the trend. So from a swing perspective, I quite like it. Intraday, I wouldn't be so keen in the buys. Where we're trading, the failure of highs, not really a good combination there. But pullback here could be a much smarter opportunity. So I'll keep an eye around 113,500 for some longs for BTC. And also, I do want to quickly share the Zentrix dashboard. Again, this is the project we've been working on. The Perps platform I've been mentioning is an element of this. But this is the dashboard of our project we've been working on, which is just simply tools regarding AI to help retail traders, to help pretty much any type of trader as well. But there's a lot of components, a lot of exciting announcements we have coming very, very soon. And at the moment, if you do hold 100,000, no, if you do hold, I will come back to you on that one. It's about $8. If you hold $8 of the token, you have access to the platform and unlimited access. You can ask questions. There's different AI agents you can communicate and look for replies from. One key feature I do like a lot is the trade signals, especially for different opportunities, different markets. This is like a good idea hub. Many different assets you can look to trade: stocks, indices, commodities, crypto, Forex. But if you are looking for ideas, you want suggestions in the market, or you want to see if your opportunity that you're looking at makes sense, you can come back and verify the opportunities with some ideas here that the AI spits out. It looks at different indicators, different chart patterns. You can see MACD, double top, and different ideas as well. And I was looking at this pound yen opportunity 199.976, 200.376, 199.476, and it's not a bad opportunity. I was thinking about shorts on it, but it did go against my pound USD long position, so it's a bit of a contradiction. But I did mark it up on the chart here, and the reason why I do like the shorts on this one, although I am still long-term bullish on pound yen, is that we did have a really aggressive bearish move this morning with this hourly candle, and shortly after that is when the signal did get printed. So you can see how aggressive that move was, and especially taking into account where we're trading coming back from significant resistance, I wouldn't really be looking to try and look to take any buys there anyway. I have talked about potential breakouts for pound yen. I'm keeping a close eye on it, but we haven't got the breakout yet, and price is still respecting resistance very, very well. And after that candle closed down the 4-hour chart, yeah, that's kind of set the tone, at least for the day at the moment. And from an hourly perspective, this is where the entry was. This is where the stop loss was for that trade signal, and this is the target. It's about a 1.25, I think the risk reward was. Yeah, 1.25. You can see the confidence rating as well. Entry, stop, target, and there's 60-minute. And this was the core reason for the trade, a MACD crossover. But even from a technical perspective, I can see that the technicals do line up pretty well with this opportunity. Especially if you do have experience with the market, you don't have to follow every signal outright if you want to. You know, these are the results of the signals, but you can use them as ideas or just to verify a bias if you have one. But we are seeing some downside here, and it looks like we probably will get a drop. Whether we get to the targets, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it does look like we're probably seeing some downside here. And if I take a quick look at the yen basket, I think we are seeing some strength on the yen at the moment. Yeah, a little bit of a push. How far that does continue, I'm not too sure, because we are still coming from this long-standing bearish trend, so I will be quite cautious with that. But we are definitely seeing some strength on the day, and that is having its effect on pound yen and other yen pairs as well. So going forward with the yen, even though I'm kind of still bearish, looking to follow that trend there, I'm being very cautious with looking to jump into any yen pairs outright, because I think we could be in a bit of a crossroad at the moment. We are in a crossroad at the moment, so I'm being very cautious of that. Hey, what's up, Yusuf? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. What is up? What is up? Welcome to the stream. Yep, Euro G on the 15 we can take a look at as well. Loretta, Aussie dollar, we can take a look to. I know USD is going to be an interesting talking point today, so definitely pay a lot of attention to that. But yeah, I'm actually in a long on pound USD on the 50-minute chart. So my bias is very much bullish at the moment on the 15. If we can zoom in, there we go. So I did hop into a long position about 45 minutes ago, or not 45 minutes ago. My timing's all off because I'm used to trading the 4-hour chart, so my timing's off. But I hopped in on this candle, which closed at 9:30, so about an hour and a half ago. Yeah, I definitely need to get used to that as well. But yeah, I am pretty bullish on pound USD at the moment, looking for a push back to highs, and I really like the structure on the higher time frames with pound USD, and I'm very confident we can probably get a move back into resistance here, and that's really what I'm betting on. I've got a couple opportunities I'm looking at. This is the opportunity I was interested in intraday, because I said to myself, price is likely to get here, but how price is going to get there is up to price. We might see a deeper pullback, we might see just aggressive momentum, I'm not too sure. But from a 50-minute perspective, I can trade that aggressive momentum if we only see shallow pullbacks, hence I'm in that position. If you do get a deeper pullback, I'll probably get stopped out here. Actually, I'll probably look to remove risk in a second, actually. But if I do get taken out of that position, I can look for the retest here on like an hourly or a 4-hour chart and look for the same idea. As long as price doesn't come crashing back down below this, I'm very bullish on pound USD, and I think we're likely to smash into highs and go a lot further as well. So I'm very much actively looking to buy pound USD. I'm very bearish on USD itself. I do think this is a recipe for pound USD back to highs at 1.38 and maybe further. So I have managed to hop into some buys here, and actually we'll be looking to try my stops to break even because we just had a nice close above resistance there as well. So if price does come back down, I don't really want to be in the position anymore. This was my break-even point, and this is my main target. But I will look to see if I can hold positions back to the high. Things go very well. So let me just move my stop to break-even. Okay, I didn't actually see that close because I was analyzing a different pair, but that's what I was looking for, price to close above the high there. That was my break-even point because now price is basically broken back above this sell-off here. So if price was to sell off again, I'd rather just re-entry rather than stay in the position, because the whole point of this trade is that price has had a pullback, we've tapped into momentum, we should now start to soar and come back to highs. And this is very much an intraday position which I want to be out of, or at least well protected by the news we have this evening. So it is a bit of a race against time with this position too. But yeah, very, very bullish on pound. I would suggest if you're looking for entries yourself, again, you're either looking for another push back into lows here and then looking for a buy. Entering now would be a little bit late to the party, but not the worst entry in the world, because now you've got a bit of momentum. But I would say stop loss might not be in an optimal place. If you were to enter like upper highs here and stops there, your risk to reward is heavily skewed. So you would want to see price come back into lows again. Of course, I wouldn't want that, but if you're looking for entries, that's delete the arrow. That's probably where you want to position yourself. Excuse me. So yeah, pound USD very bullish. We'll take a look at euro. Do not like that candle at the moment. I'll keep an eye on that. As for euro, I'm not a big fan of, simply because of where we're trading. We've taken up major highs here. So when price does take up major high, I kind of do want to step back, no matter if I'm bullish, bearish, or if I expect things to continue. When price does take out high, things do get a bit awkward sometimes. So because we've done it so aggressively, I would still say I'm bullish, and I quite like the swing opportunity for pound USD. If we're to pull back into this zone, I think that'll be a smart place for a buy. And potentially print another higher low again, 1, 2, 3, 4. We could see that happen as well. So I do expect price to keep pushing for euro. I'm still pretty bearish on the USD, but would I be looking for opportunities, especially after we've taken out a major high? No, not really. Again, not that you won't find a winning trade, you could do, but didn't mean to do that. From my experience, I'd rather wait to see how price develops first and then enter a little bit later. I like the idea of buying to the high rather than once the high is taken out, because I'm all expecting price to create a new high, a new low, and then once that is done, now it's kind of back away. Let's see how price does react. But from a 15-minute perspective, this looks fairly corrective to me in the most part. So I would still have the impression that this is a pullback for price to attack the highs again. Do I see a good buy opportunity? No, I don't like the pullback as much as I do with pound. I mean, we are coming back into an area of demand as well. Could see price double bottom here, but I would be cautious as we come back into supply there, because of course we have been pretty continuous with these lower highs. If we are going to sell off, this is probably where we're going to sell off from. If we are going to continue further, this 1.185 area is something to keep an eye on. So we are testing areas where buyers could enter. Haven't really seen much momentum, to be honest, to support that. So I would like maybe another push down into lows, then a strong reaction to really show that buyers are entering. And from a seller's perspective, this is where you want to kind of watch out for. That's where we could be seeing another lower high for. But yeah, and I am in the impression that this is a pullback for us to go higher. I just don't see a good entry to time that pullback just yet. So yeah, a bit awkward. But I'm bullish on pound, I'm bullish on euro, I'm bearish on USD. If I quickly look at the DXY, I still do expect lower prices for this one. I'm still looking for price to go and take out this low over here. So I still do see room to the downside for the DXY, and therefore euro is probably likely to push too. But I'd rather put my eggs in the pound basket for now. So hopefully that made sense. Where was I? Okay, one to longs, but it was invalid on the 1 minute. Yeah, I'm experimenting with the 15-minute now, but I call you pound USD, Yusuf. I mean, I'm still going to trade the 4 hour. That's still my bread and butter. That's still really where I'm the most comfortable with in terms of the time period, in terms of momentum, in terms of just taking entries really, and stops as well. When I'm trading the 4 hour chart, I'm not really concerned with news too much. Of course, the big ones I'm still cautious for. I don't want to trade straight into, but in terms of risk, my average stop loss size could be between 50, 100 pips, sometimes even a lot more than that. So news events, not really too worried about. Of course, sometimes it will be burnt, but it's few and far between. So it's just a lot less stressful on the 4 hour chart. 15's a bit thick and fast. Things happen quicker. I have to keep an eye for the news. So there's a bit more going on, but I am experimenting with the 15, particularly the major pairs. So pound, euro, Aussie, everything pretty much against the dollar. Not gold and silver just yet. I might look to add those later, but I'm just focusing on the currency majors right now. And yeah, experiment with them. I'm gonna see how it goes for a few months. I have been back testing and collecting some results. Now I'm putting it to the live testing with minimal risk. I'm not going full swing of things. This is my first 15-minute trade live in a long time, so it's very much still under the test phase. But yeah, going to be testing out 50-minute chart, pretty much USD pairs for now. Okay, did get into a buy earlier, but got stopped out. Risky move, you hold it through FOMC. High likelihood it will be in your favor, but you never know. Yeah, I probably won't be looking to hold through FOMC. The thought process is to get out this position hopefully before FOMC. I mean, I do really like the opportunity for pound. I do think price is likely to get here, and of course, the fact that you're saying it's probably going to be in my favor, is definitely feeding into that little voice in my head that says hold through the news. But with this plan, especially the big events, I do want to close the trade before. The only position where I would look to hold through the news if I'm on the 50-minute chart is if I'm way into profit. So let's say by 6 p.m, so like an hour before the news comes out, let's say price is over here, then I wouldn't mind because my risk would be removed. I'd probably even trade it in a bit into profit just in case if something really aggressive does happen. And I've probably taken off some positions by then. So if price is up here or around that area, I could look to hold because I'm safe. If price is still here, yeah, I'll be out the trade. That's a little bit too risky for my liking. But if prices are well into profit, I can lock in gains. I'll hold because I have the expectation it will go high. I'm still a very technical based trader, so no really matter what the news is. I'm following my technical bias until it's proven wrong. And at the moment, it hasn't been proven wrong. So I still do expect higher prices for pound. But yeah, I do need price to be way into profit if I'm going to look to hold through FOMC. Otherwise, if we're in and around here, I'll close the position. But yeah, definitely a good bet. If this was like the 4 hour time frame, I would hold no matter what, really. What's up? Divot, welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Welcome. Due entry was 1.3646, stop loss 3638. Okay, let's have a look. See, so 364636. So entry was around there. Stop loss 3638. 38 was about there somewhere. So I'm guessing this is the move that took you out. Yeah. Again, I mean, of course, yeah, moves like that will happen, especially at the lows, which is kind of why I entered there, to be honest, because price went and took out this low, which was the whole idea for the trade. Nothing special. It's just price was giving me the channel. So I was like, okay, if I can wait for price to take out that low and then find an entry, I'll be happy with that because I've already got the fake out, then the buy. So that was the whole reason why I took the position. But of course, there will be times where I do take trades in the same fashion, and price will just completely fall off a cliff and roll over, or maybe push in my favor a little bit and then reverse too, and take out my stop loss and then continue. Timing the market is always going to be difficult to do every time correctly. But yeah, I mean, I'm very much in the same bias as you. Hopefully we can see the continuation. I think maybe Euro might be the better bet if you're still looking for entries, or of course if pound USD does run back to lows, that would be a nice trade as well. But yeah, I mean, same bias, just looking for that move back to highs. Hopefully you can continue. I appreciate it, Sculpey. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe as well. It does really help out. And if you're liking the content, I do this every weekday. Make sure you do subscribe, because we go through a bunch of markets, share different opportunities. If I'm in any trades, I'll share that with you guys as well. Okay, nice. No way. Yeah, I think in terms of frequency, the lower time frames, of course, would trump the high time frames every day of the week. So in terms of frequency, in terms of opportunity, the low time frames is definitely going to give you abundance of that. So much you're going to have to be selective. High time frames I quite like, just because of the style, the narrative, the timing of everything, and I do think it's a little bit easier to trade as well. So I still will be looking for my swing positions. That's still my bread and butter, but I do like the idea of, from time to time, taking advantage of a lower time frame trades, especially when I'm confident on a bias as well. It's not just to trade, but if I am confident with a bias, if there is not going to be a deep pullback, because there's many occasions where I'm looking for a swing on a 4-hour chart, pound USD, for example, I'm looking for a swing back to highs here. We just had a massive break of resistance. And I've talked about, if price breaks resistance here, I'm expecting a push there. There's been many times where I'm looking for the pullback, but it just didn't come, or it just wasn't deep enough for me to get the entry in the 4-hour, and then price does, just continues to my target. But there would have been maybe 2 or 3 opportunities on the 50-minute chart to trade that. So when I do have a clear swing that I'm looking to trade, I can kind of tackle it on different fronts. If we have shallow pullbacks, I can look at the 15 to trade it. If we're going to have deep pullbacks, I can scale to my usual 4-hour chart and trade it there as I normally would. But in this case, I can still take advantage of the moves that I would normally miss, just because the pullbacks aren't deep enough. So that's kind of my thought process using the lower time frames. Not so much just to go, okay, there's more trades, let me just keep looking to buy and sell where I can. It's more so, how can I use what I'm already doing on the 4-hour, but use the 50-minute chart to potentially help benefit that, help aid that. And opportunities where price does just leave me hanging a little bit, I can use those opportunities to trade them with some smaller pullbacks. So that's my thought process with it. But yeah, in terms of opportunities, you will get a lot more of them intraday than swing, of course. Okay, let's see, where was I? Yeah, the daily high to fail because we're bullish on GU, so naturally that high should fail. Yeah, I am looking at that as well. FOMC can do 50 to 80 pips easily on GU, so hopefully it flies out for you. Yeah, that's the hope, that's the plan. I mean, you don't really want to say hope in trading, but I'm going to say it hope. Again, I mean, I've done my analysis. I've done the work of actually finding the position, taking the trade. Then it's up to the market to do its thing. Maybe price does go against me, maybe price goes for me. I don't really have too much say in that. But of course, there's no harm to hope price goes in your favor, as long as you don't let the hope crush you. If price doesn't go in your favor, it's not like the end of the world situation. Hey, what's up? Vishwa, welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Naz 100. For scalping, okay, interesting. For scalping, do you mean like 1 minute, 5 minute time frame? I'll probably say 15 minutes is still kind of like day trading, really. I probably would say 5 to 1 minute is more scalping vibes. So if you want me to take a look at those particular time frames for scalping, let me know. And yeah, please don't spam the chat. You know, one message is fine. If I don't see it, then of course you can let me know. M30, M15, really good time frames. M30 much safer. Yeah, true. And again, they're both very close to each other. And that's kind of the time frames I want to be looking to operate in if I don't get the bigger pullback I'm used to. You can look at those time frames for entries. It's not so much 15-minute for me, it's just a lower time frame. It might be hourly, it might be 30-minute. I won't go lower than 15 though, to trade the opportunity. Yusuf, if you don't mind, can you show me how you looked for your entry? You mentioned waiting for price, take the low. Okay. I'll take full losses. I feel like my entries are just too random at the moment. Yeah, I mean, that's of course going to be the battle when you do take a few losses in a row, which is inevitable. Even if you have really good entries, I'm keeping an eye on that candle. It might trail me out my position. But yeah, in terms of taking losses in a row, of course, that's always going to knock your confidence in terms of actually trading. You know, you're going to get into positions, you can take 4 losses in a row, 5 losses in a row, and then taking that next position is always going to feel like the most painful thing ever, because you feel like, okay, I'm just going to take another loss here. But that's one of the difficult parts of trading, really. And I think I've just been taking out the position. Oh well, we'll take that first trade back with the 50-minute chart. I'll happily take the break even there. Again, very minimal risk, so it's just about building confidence, building rhythm. But I was happy with the trade. If we do get a dump, if we do get a sell-off, I'll also be looking to buy. I'm very bullish on pound USD. So if price does sell off here, you know, I'm very much looking at the bigger pullback over there. Maybe I was just a bit too early to the party. But yeah, we'll see how that does continue to go, because I'm interested. Am I taking out a break even for price to continue going up, or am I taking out break even to save me from potential loss? We'll see. But yeah, in terms of when you do take a bunch of losses in a row and you're still looking to take the same trade, that's really the mental fortitude of, you know, trading through that tough time. That doesn't really come back to, okay, are you taking the right trades? It more so comes back to the willpower to keep going, because you know yourself if you're taking the right trades through your testing and through your back testing. You will find out if you're taking the right trades or not. If you're not confident in your approach to the market, which is kind of what the vibe I'm getting, if you're not confident with the approach you have to the market, then you need to go back to the drawing board and build that confidence up. So you don't want to be in a situation which looks like you're in now, where you're taking trades and then you experience a few losses and then you're kind of starting to rethink everything, because you're just going to come back to zero, because you're going to go back to the drawing boards. You're going to come out with a new type of way to enter. You're going to trade, maybe find some initial success, then you're going to experience another losing streak, and then the cycle repeats of going back to the drawing board, doubting your entry technique, and then, you know, the cycle repeats. So you want to be really confident that if you were to take 100, 200, 300 trades with the same model, that by the end of that, you almost guaranteed to be in profit. It doesn't have to be that far ahead, but that's the kind of confidence you want to have. So if you do take those 4 losses, it's not like, okay, I need to go to the drawing board. Maybe look at the positions. Maybe you're a bit off in some, you know, certain confluence, because trading, especially with the way we trade, is discretionary. So it's not absolute unless you have a mechanical strategy. So you do have to go back to the drawing board and see, are you taking the trades in the best environment? So you do have to look back at that. But as long as you are taking the best environment, you will experience these 3, 4, 5 losses in a row. I would say the 10R mark is where to kind of really revisit and go for a detailed analysis of your trading, your entries, and how you're trading. So if you're down like 10R, you experience a lot of losses in a row there. Yeah, that's the point really to go back to the drawing board. But anything between that is, you know, realistic to some stage. Even like 6, 7R down, you could very much experience that. 4 losses, again, it's actually more common than you think. So don't get too put off by that. If you're not quite confident with your trading, go back to the drawing board, gain that confidence, and then take that to the markets, knowing that at some point you will go through a losing streak and your fortitude will be tested. But if you do have that confidence, you keep trading. And if you do get a certain point, like 10 losses, 10R down, let's say if you're risking 1%, you're down 10% at the moment, that's maybe your point to revisit, go look back and see, okay, maybe there is a bit of an error here. But yeah, that's the point where you start to question. But in terms of the entry itself, It's very, very simple. I've made a few videos on this about the entries. I think the pullback strategy as well. If you go check out those videos, I've basically summed up how I look to take these positions. But let's say you've got an uptrending market. All I'm looking to do is position myself after that low is taken and take the entry here for the continuation. It's just looking at a bull flag continuation. Sometimes it's on the second test, sometimes it'll be on the third test, but essentially I'm looking to time myself in these entries for the swing. And a big component of that is price taking out the prior low. So let's say you got the up move. Ooh, actually, let's lose this. So let's say you got the up move, then you got the first down move. The whole theory behind it is that, you know, people can see the trend. It's not like I'm the only person who can gauge this trend. A lot of people are seeing a trend, they want to follow it. But the reason behind the entry is that you're looking to enter after people have entered too early. So as soon as the first dip forms, people are looking to buy, you know, on the way up with the hope that the trend's going to continue. And sometimes it will do, of course. But your plan is to very much wait for price to go and take out that low. So take out those early buys and then buy now, where people are thinking, oh, maybe the trend is not continuing. Maybe that's sell, sell, sell. And that's where you're looking to buy to hopefully capitalize on the swing. And that's basically the logic behind the pattern. Very, very common pattern. You see it all the time. And again, it's not that the pattern is, you know, unbreakable, unbeatable. It's about how you use it as well, and where you use the pattern as well. But very simple, but it works, you know, for kind of that reason. And you can, of course, accompany other confluences with it. But in terms of the entry itself, so you got that pattern here. This is your up move. That's your first dip over here. You're creating this low. We can move this out of the way. This is just referencing a nice area demand, which I bought from as added confluence. But again, this is your first low. Price go and takes out that low there. You can see naturally price has a nice reaction to the upside, but in this case, we didn't see the full continuation. Then price did it again, and this is where I timed my entries. This was midnight, so I'm sleeping here. I'm not really looking at the charts at this point. I'm awake here when price was moving. It took out the low, and then as soon as it resurfaced, came back above the low, that's when I timed my entry. So on that closure, this way I'm right at support, right down at the low. I can get stops at the low there as well, and hopefully look for the continuation of the trend. That's really the entry of that trade. Of course, in this instance, we didn't really get the continuation, or maybe we do get the continuation, but maybe I'm just not going to be in it because I've been taken out at break even. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with this one. Maybe price does go through another meltdown. Would I be interested for a fourth time? Rarely so. It's normally second or third I'm interested. Fourth, it's a little bit pushing it too much, because at this point I would have expected the trend to continue by now. If it's doing it a fourth time, maybe we do get a deeper correction. So I'll try and gauge that, but probably not. So yeah, that's kind of the take there. Okay, where was I? NAS 100, yeah, we'll take a look at that. If I have missed out a pair someone's requested, let me know. But also, guys, if you are using the platform, if you are interested, I will, I'm pretty sure the link to the platform is below. But there's many different features you can access and trade with and use AI, because again, that's where the future is headed towards, AI in pretty much all industries. And I think using it to help aid your trading is going to be a massive advantage, and something that in a few years' time, probably everyone will probably be using at some point. So definitely get ahead of the curve. I think is a really important thing to be looking to do. But another one of these features of Zentrix, which again is just all about, you know, advanced AI powered trading platform. It's all about just using tools to help aid your journey, whether analysis, entries, even generating bots as well, something we're looking to work on in the near future. But over here, if you click this tab here, we got different AI agents you can ask with: fundamental, technical, risk, market sentiment, cryptocurrency, and me as well, which is the team leader, which will discuss with each one of these other agents and give you kind of a more rounded conclusion of whatever topic you're looking to ask questions. But let's say if you're looking for analysis, or looking for, you know, how to use double top patterns simply, you know, if any of you used ChatGPT or any kind of AI just like you normally would in terms of conversation, how do I use double top patterns? So again, whether you're really experienced or you're just new to trading and you want to get some ideas, You can just drop questions like that in, send it away, or spend some time analyzing. But this is a great way to kind of learn along the way with your own kind of personal kind of teacher, supposedly. I mean, it will scour the internet to get information, but a great way to learn along the way. So you can see it's giving you guys some ideas of how to identify the pattern itself, uptrending, two peaks, neckline volume, trading the double top pattern, so entry confirmation, stop loss, target, risk to reward, additional tips, examples here as well. So it's really something to play around with. You can ask pretty much any question. It will go and do its research for you. But the beauty of this, it's specialized for the topic. So if you've got technical questions, fundamental questions, risk management questions, you can ask that along the way as well. And like I said, all you do need is just to have that question and answer away. So definitely check it out if you haven't done so already. This way about testing, getting data important, Miko, literal proof that data makes sense. Exactly. I mean, the thing is about back testing is people do get it confused, because a lot of people can be expert back testers, but then when it comes to live trading, you do kind of run into some problems, and it's simply because of the live conditions and your thought process. Because back testing is good. It's like sports. If any of you guys play sports or have done in the past, in training, it's a different environment to the actual game day. You know, you can practice, let's say penalty shootouts, for example. You can practice taking penalty in training, but when it's actually time to take live penalties in front of a crowd booing you, it's a different environment. You're still shooting the ball the same way how you normally would do, but the environment's different. That's exactly back testing. You're practicing the art of actually how to kick the ball. And then when it comes to live, then you've got the added pressure and the noise of the live markets and your real capital at stake. So what backtesting gives you, it gives you the platform to say that, okay, these set of rules, this strategy and the way you apply the strategy does actually work. All you need to do is to be able to do it live. And that's where journaling comes, and reviewing your actual performance live is where you do take yourself to the next level. But backtesting gives you the confidence in the strategy. Then journaling kind of gives you the confidence that you can actually apply it in real time. Two different components though. But first, you want to have that confidence in the strategy, and then second, you want to have the confidence that you can apply it live. That's a different confidence, which could be something you're struggling with, Yusuf. Maybe not so much the strategy, it might be the confidence live, which is where journaling comes in, reviewing your trades comes in, and that's where you progress there. Hey, what's up, Light, and welcome to the stream. Okay, let me go through NAS before I forget, because that was requested quite a few times. So if I don't do this one, that'll be quite a shock. How can I miss this one? Okay, so NAS looking very bullish as a whole. Again, it depends what you're after. With the news later today, you're not really looking for a swing trade right now. I don't think now's the best time to be positioning yourself for a swing position, especially with the market, very much bullish and overextended. We've had a really big move to the upside. I wouldn't be jumping into anything right now aggressively. Intraday, you can probably find an opportunity, be in and out before the news comes out later. You still got what? It's 11:30 now. You still got a good few hours before the news comes out. You can still be trading for about 4 or 5 hours and be done for the day. So if you're like on a 50-minute chart or below, you might find some opportunities there. What would I be looking for? I like the way we pierced the low, but I wouldn't be backing buys. I think we're a little bit too extended here, to be honest. I like the double top sell we had here. Price came back into the high, really aggressive sell. It's just basically looks like a consolidation to me. So in this case, what I would probably do is wait for the break of the high here, because there is a lot of room to trade. It's not like price is right up against the high, so I can actually wait for the break of this and look for some pullbacks, or maybe even the retest of the level, and then take some buys off that, and then a push back to the high will look good. Because I don't want to overcomplicate it. The market for me is still very, very bullish. Looking at the bigger picture, I would still very much want to be a buy. I think that's where the highest probability trades will be. Yeah, there could be some sells here. Maybe if price does break to the downside and we put another lower high in. We've got one high there. This could be another low. Well, it is another low high, but I would like to see a bit more downside. So it kind of looks like we've got a fake out of the low. So I want to see a bit more conviction to the downside. And then we can speak on some lower highs there. And then maybe a push back into the low here potentially. But yeah, the way I see it for NAS right now is that we've got a confident uptrend at play. We've got a rangy market, which is just fake the low. Let's see if it does go and break it again or retest it. A nice confident opportunity would be a strong break of the high here. That really tells me, okay, buyers are stepping in. There's a good likely chance we push to the highs here. Could either take the buys on the breakout or wait for a pullback, maybe even on like a 5-minute chart, and then take the buys there. And then that would be a nice high probability opportunity, taking advantage of what the market has been doing for the past few weeks, few months now, which is just continuously trending to the upside. So NAS, that's kind of how I would gauge it. I wouldn't really be looking for a short, and especially looking for a scalping opportunity. I think that buy would be a nice one. If we're looking to sell, I'd wait for a bit more conviction, and then this would be the target. But that probably wouldn't happen between now and the news. I don't see us trading at those lows in the next few hours. We could do, but I doubt it. I think as the day goes on, to be honest, we'll probably see momentum die down, especially after like maybe peak New York, so like 2-3 p.m. I think after that, momentum will just die down as people get ready for the news, and then that will be the big event everyone's focusing on. So you kind of want to be out the market probably in the next 3 hours, 4 hours tops. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Yep, we can take a look at dollar CAD for you. No problem. If not done yet, after requested pairs, okay, yeah, we can take a look at dollar CAD. Certainly. Yusuf, normally the losses didn't get to me, but I realized my losses are getting tagged out before the move begins. If I increase my stop loss, it just messes up the risk reward. Good question. Well, that's good. That's good. That means you're progressing in terms of the live analysis, because again, like I said, that's a different element. So what you want to do is make sure the sample size is big enough. You don't want to do it with like 5 trades, for example, because you could do the same thing 5 times and have different outcomes. You can go take the same outlook you have, go trade that another 5 times, and it'd be perfect entry every 5 times. So it's kind of like, okay, which do I follow? Am I getting in too early? Am I getting in the right time? I don't know. So you need a decent sample size. I would say at least 20 to 30 of those trades happening, which of course might take maybe a couple of months. But then you can be very sure that, okay, maybe on average, I am getting in a bit too early. And then you can just do a slight tweak, as I mentioned, because if you are getting too early, all you need to do is get in a little bit later. When people are looking to buy in that first low, get in the second one. If you're looking to get even later, get in the third one. Give yourself a little bit more room in the stop loss as well, and wait for price to be right at the lows before you're entering. And just that tweak can really help that out. But like I said, I'll get a slightly bigger sample size before really judging that, because you don't want to be too reactionary with trading, because every week you're going to come up with a new verdict when you're trading. Oh, I'm doing this too much. I'm doing this too much, which could be correct, but at least validate that over a larger sample size, because some weeks you do something, it works very, very well. Other weeks, not too well. Maybe you were wrong to use it the second week, or maybe it just wasn't meant to be. And if you're always tweaking every minor thing, you'll probably drive yourself insane. Your trading is really about having a process and trading through the thick and through the thin. There will be times where you're doing things, it's not working too well, but you have to see that through. It's not just win, 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 win. And of course, you want to tweak and adjust, but you don't want to overdo that too, because that's just as bad. Exactly true. Yeah, you want to try and make the back testing as live conditions as possible. Of course, it will never be as the same thing, because the one key component that back testing will never provide is the experience of juggling, live capital. You can trade on a demo account, you can trade with fake money, but you can't back test with real money, can you? So that's obviously one element that you can never judge. But in terms of using a replay tool, there's different back testing softwares out there you can use, really, really good ones as well, that will allow you to kind of experience the live process of the market and taking it live. So you can do that as much as possible, but the key element is the capital, and which is why kind of trading is such an emotional, emotional endeavor because of the money. So yeah, you want to make sure at least you're confident with that first. Okay, so we'll go through dollar CAD for light. If I have missed out a pair, I might have done, but yeah, I'm sure you guys will let me know. As for USD CAD, so USD CAD very bearish on this one, expecting a lot more downside. I love the little head and shoulder pattern we've got going on here. Left head, right shoulder. I was looking for a push to the high, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be there. And we did see a lovely break of that counter trend line and momentum stepped up. So the plan now for dollar CAD is looking for us to go revisit eventually this support level. That's the target for dollar CAD, back at 1.355. As long as price doesn't take out this high here, I am looking at us returning back to these lows. So I'm really, really bearish on USD CAD, and I'm looking to actively sell this one. However, now is not the best time to be doing that. Up at the highs, that would have been a great time if price was kind enough to get there. But of course, we can see it wasn't. But yeah, at the moment we are coming back into support. So this is the worst time to be looking to really sell, unless you're kind of really intraday and you're looking for like a quick drop there. There might be something there, but even like an hourly chart, I wouldn't really look for that opportunity, because this is really where the buyers are sitting. Maybe a lot of the sellers here looking to lock in some gains there. This is of course an area where buyers have entered the market in the past. We might see that again. But I do expect it to eventually break. So it's either price is going to go and break it straight away. Maybe the news is going to be the catalyst for that. Or maybe we do see price bounce a little bit, put lower high in, and then we see the drop. That could happen as well. So I'm kind of waiting for either or, but the situation is the same, looking too short. So if we do see some upside, maybe back into an area like this, I quite like that supply area, really aggressive drop. Maybe it's like a nice and corrective push to the upside. Over the next week or two, that could be a really nice sell to consider. Or if price decides, okay, yeah, we're just going to go and break this thing, then either shorting on breakouts, looking for retests. But I do expect a lot more downside for dollar CAD, so I'm not really too much in a rush to jump into anything. I do see this really collapsing over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks really, and my plan is just timing, focusing on not getting in too early, not getting in too late either, and just making sure I'm getting in at the right areas. Right now, I don't think we are in one. If anything, there might be some short-term buyers, but I'm not really interested in buying dollar CAD at the moment. So yeah, that's kind of my take with USD CAD. And if I drop to the hourly chart, yeah, I'm not seeing much there. It looks a little bit corrected now, so it looks like we're tiring. We might still sell off here and there, but I wouldn't necessarily bank on anything big. And actually could, like I said, be some short-term buys off the low. But yeah, my interest is more so with the sells. So yeah, keep an eye on 1.384. Should we see a bigger pullback? I think that's a really sensible zone to keep an eye on. But yeah, that's why I do see dollar CAD heading towards. Really bearish on this pair, and I do think that we can see price really continue, especially if the DXY goes and takes out the prior low, which yeah, we're not too far away from doing. Again, all of this will hinge on the news announcement tonight, but yeah, it doesn't really matter how price reacts for me. Of course, I want to see what the results are, but it doesn't really matter how price reacts to the news, because it's not always, okay, interest rates drop, price falls, or vice versa. It can be different things. We could see price push up, we can see price push down, push up, then push down again. We can see things like that happen. So in terms of the news release itself, I don't try and look to guess that or play that. I have a bias of what I'm expecting USD to do, but in terms of the event itself, the release itself, that could be anything, which is why I don't really look to try and trade the news exclusively. I might try and play the news to my advantage, but not the event being released itself. That's always a bit more guesswork. But yeah, no matter really how we do react, whether USD does gain strength, I am looking to short this. I'm very much looking to short this. As long as structure doesn't get taken out, and as long as we don't aggressively push to the upside. If it's an aggressive push, I mean close aggressively, that would make me rethink my bias. But as long as it's corrective, I do still see dollar rolling to take out these lows. Then pound USD, euro USD expect to go higher, but more so my focus will be on pound to get it back to the highs here. Looks like strength is entering again the market. May have been taken out early for that move, but we'll have to see how this does get going. But yeah, first trade back, so I'm not expecting any crazy moves, but it would be nice to walk away for winner, but I'll take the break even. But yeah, looking back on the position, I think the timing was good. I think the entry was good. The location was good. Momentum on the trend was good as well. A lot of good factors. I like the corrective nature of the pullback as well. I like the opportunity on the higher time frame. There's still room to the upside for us to get back there. Yeah, we'll see how it does go. But yeah, trailed out at that low. I mean, price could still sell off, so it could prove to be a good exit, but momentum is an interesting one. I am still really bearish on DXY, so even if we do sell off here, I'm still expecting us to continue. And actually now that's kind of what I want price to do, because now I'm out of that position. Now it's about, okay, can we get a deeper pullback to this area? This is where I was originally focusing on the 4 hour, but the only reason why I entered the 15 here is because momentum looked good. We were seeing healthy corrections, and the plan was, okay, can I take advantage of that buy there if we don't see the bigger pullback? That's the whole theory behind that. And yeah, now that I'm out of the position, now I do want to see definitely the bigger pullback, but that'll be up to the market as well. So in terms of the USD pairs that I really like, pound USD is still one of them, and dollar CAD is one of them as well. Dollar CAD not quite ready yet, as we just went through, but equally I do have a big swing I'm looking to try and trade. So a lot of my focus over the next maybe 2-3 weeks will be around dollar CAD, and maybe if I can still get into pound USD, as long as it doesn't fly off this evening. Hopefully I can find some opportunities to get back in to pound USD if there is an opportunity. If not, I mean, all I'm looking to do is trade one of them. I don't have to trade both dollar CAD and pound. The only situation where that would occur is if I am already in one position and that's already into, way into profit, and I can remove risk. Then of course, I can jump into another position because I'm not doubling up necessarily. But at the moment, yeah, just looking to get back into one. Dollar CAD's probably not going to be the one, at least for this week anyway. Pound USD, there might still be opportunities there. Oh, that's the wrong one. Might still be opportunities there, but we shall see. No problem, Lighton. Happy to help. Nice on the forecast. Cool. The market's favoring me lately. Again, it will go and it will go and come. But yeah, I mean, when you get a good understanding, that's the time you want to press the gas pedal and take advantage of it, because there will be times where you get into the market and then you kind of just get slapped back and forth. That's the time to say, okay, maybe I've got the reading of the market wrong. I'm kind of out of sync a little bit. Now that's the best time to kind of scale back your trading volume and be a bit more watchful, because you, just like with everything in life in general, you will pick up moments where momentum's good and everything you do touch turns to gold. That's the time to not necessarily increase risk tenfold, but maybe be a bit more confident with positions and really take advantage of that. And there will be times where things are not going too well, and that's not a sign to keep attacking. That's a sign to maybe be a bit more cautious. Of course, you still want to trade, you still want to take the positions because you don't want to back away. You have to see that period out as well. So you still do want to keep looking to take your trade. But maybe if there's 3 opportunities, you don't necessarily want to take all 3, especially if you're in some drawdown. Maybe just take one position, see how that goes. Okay, if it's a winner, you claw back some of the drawdown again. Let's build on that. You don't want to be in this position where you're down already you take another 3 positions all at once, and maybe they're all losers too. Now you're down a lot more. So you don't want to keep looking to to put the the pressure on you like that. Slow it down and pick it back up as well. And when things are going well, you're in a lot of profit recently, equity curves at new highs, maybe take all 3 positions. You can stomach the loss a bit because your equity curves at new highs. If you do take 3 losses in a row here, it's not the end of the world. If there are 3 wins, big wins, it could be another big push in your equity curve as well. And that's really where you want to take advantage of those positions too. But yeah, moments like that will come and go. But important to manage them well too. Weren't there when he predicted deaths of early birds? Oh, it's LFTJ. I appreciate it, FX Bashi. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. But yeah, the early bird, early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. I think that's a really underrated saying for trading. Because not always the early bird. I mean, well, early bird is going to get the worm first, but yeah, the mice do get caught in the trap sometimes, don't they? And the second one's the one that gets the cheese. Sometimes you want to be a bit more of a mouse than a bird. I'm getting really philosophical right now. But yeah, pound USD is picking up quite well here. So it looks like I've just been tagged and now the market's going to do its thing. Again, this happens on the 4-hour chart as well, so it's nothing new. It's just with the 15-minute chart, it happens a bit more faster. They experience the break even quickly, can experience the win quicker, can experience the loss quicker. But yeah, we'll get used to that. But I mean, if it does play out, it's good to be in the right direction. It's good to have kind of had that analysis play out. Of course, maybe the management, did I go break even too early? I don't think I did. I still waited for price to take up the highs here, which for me was enough. If I'm looking at my risk to reward, it's about a 1 to 2.23 into the high. Price peaked around 1.29. That's about 50%, a bit more than 50% actually. In around 50% is normally a good point to start managing risk. Don't necessarily have to go break even, but it could trail stops maybe halfway or take partials. In this case, I went to break even. I was expecting this momentum to continue, but we'll see if price does actually give us that bigger picture. And if we do pull back, great. I'll look for second entries to get in. Early bird get wicked out. Exactly, early bird gets wicked out. I need to put that on a t-shirt or something. Early bird does get wicked out. And again, that's really my thought process with trading as a whole. Especially as a retail trader, we don't have the buying power to do anything with the markets. We're just looking for the small pieces of the pie. So if you're looking to try and call tops and bottoms, which again, not necessarily anything wrong with that, but you don't want to be the first person to try and predict where the high is forming. Let's say, a price is zooming to the upside. I don't want to be trying to predict where that top's going to form. I'll let the market start to tire first and at least start to form some lower highs. And then, okay, I don't mind trying to call some shorts here. Maybe price does continue to new highs, but at least I've got some backing here. I can see some selling pressures already entered, buyers failing at highs. Maybe we do start to dump here. It's still aggressive trade, especially if we're coming from a big uptrend. Still definitely aggressive position, but I'm not the first person here. It's not like price is just creating new highs. Yeah, that's short. That's obviously going to be very difficult to take. And same thing goes for pullbacks as well. If the market is trending well, we push down. Never really want to try and buy that first dip. Of course, sometimes you will be right, just like with the other example. Sometimes you will be right as well. But rather price comes a little bit deeper. It gets into that position where it's a bit awkward. Like, is price going to sell off? Is price actually going to continue? That's the time where I want to position myself because people are getting caught between buys and sells, whereas I'm just very much looking to continue the trend. Of course, sometimes I will be wrong and the market will sell off. but at least my confidence is still in play. Market hasn't broken structure. The game plan is still the same. And that's kind of where I like the opportunity, especially intraday, because I feel like that is really true for intraday as well. Swing trading as well too, but intrading where there's a lot of noise or more noise, I think that's very, very true. The stop loss for early birds, that's the entry. Now that's a good one for the t-shirt as well. No problem, Yusuf. Appreciate the advice. Happy to help, my man. Happy to help. But yeah, I mean, trading's never really about, solving anything crazy. You can see some of the all-time great traders, and some of them are very, very transparent with how they trade and how they take advantage of positions. They're not doing anything unheard of, especially ones that have been trading for like 20, 30 years. It's just about timing very well, because at the end of the day, the market's going to go up. No matter what strategy you're trading, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. How good are you at timing that? That's really the answer. If you strip back the strategy, the noise from buying the lows, selling whatever, if you take back that noise, it's really just about timing the market. If it's going to go up, cool. Okay, let's time it well. Are you going to buy too early? Are you going to buy too late? That's really what it is. And that's kind of a nice perspective to have in things, because no matter how you're trying to trade, moving averages, indicators, you name it, strategy, it all comes back to timing. You can time it well, you do well in the markets. Timing's poorly, you're not going to do too well, no matter what style you have. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge topic in itself, because again, there's so much education, so much information about how to trade and taking advantage of opportunities online. It's not like there's a drought of information. There's probably too much information, to be honest, but there's so much information, free courses, paid courses, mentorships, live streams like this. There's so much opportunity and information there, but still, it's not like the trading results back that up. It's not like notoriously 90% of people lose money, 10% people make money. It's not a situation where it's like, okay, now it's about 50-50. No, it's still 90-10, funny enough, even with more information. So there has to be something outside of that is keeping the odds 90-10. I think a lot of it is approach. I think a lot of it is risk management as well, which is really interesting, because risk management isn't complicated. It's just betting small, making sure you're trying to win bigger than you lose. That's really the core elements of risk management. But that, I think a lot of people do trip up as well. And then you got the psychological element of that as well, difficult, even during winning periods. You can see that be the destruction of a lot of people, not just losing periods. I think that does have a big weight on people's shoulders too. Boss, go trust, stop on that. Manzoni, I don't know what that means, my man. Does that mean break of structure, go change of structure? Yeah, I've no idea what you meant by that. Yeah, if you could rephrase that somehow, that would be helpful. But we don't just have FOMC later today, do we? We've got the Canadian interest rate decision as well, which I'm pretty sure rates are being lowered too. Yep, 2.75 to 2.5 rates are dropping. So again, expecting a weak CAD as well. Anyone looking to trade CAD, keep an eye out on that. But again, the initial reaction is always kind of a bit of guesswork. So we never really try and, okay, I'm expecting CAD to be weak, so let me just sell on the news release. That's never really the plan. But that's what I would expect to happen. Fed interest rate, I think we could see something of that nature as well. And of course, keep an eye on the press conference. That's really where a lot of drama is. Sometimes we have the interest rates drop, price will make a move one way, press conference come out, price will do a whole 180 and move the opposite way, and that will then continue for the rest of the day and maybe the rest of the week as well. So don't sleep on the press conference. That's half an hour later. That's 7:30 UK time. Of course, the interest rate decision itself is the big event, but the conference after is also a big event as well. And then tomorrow morning we've got pound, Bank of England, rates expected to stay the same. That's at 12. So I'm going to have to be very careful of that. If I'm still looking to try and buy pound USD, I'm going to have to be watchful of that. And then later in the day, not later in the day, the next day we've got the yen. Yeah, yen interest rate. Again, rates expected to stay the same as well. And I've got a few yen pairs I'm looking to trade. Dollar yen is one of them. And it is actually trading at my area of interest right now. So I have to be very, very watchful of dollar yen, because depending how we react at these lows, I will be looking for some buying opportunities on dollar yen. So if price can pinch the lows here, react well, I will be looking for a push back to the top end of the channel, top end of the range. And this is where I'm trying to position myself long and hopefully bet on a push back to highs there. Maybe even a push back to these highs if things go very well. But I can see if I scale to the daily chart, there is an uptrend here connecting these higher lows. And you can see first test, second test, third test. I'm looking for the push to the upside there and a push back to highs. So that's really the plan if everything goes really well. The funny thing is, I do expect this to actually end pretty soon and continue lower back to these lows. That's my longer term outlook. But I'm looking to see if I can bet on one more up move, and then maybe the sell does happen. If, of course, price just breaks out of this with a lot of volume and it breaks the counter trend line, then of course I won't be looking at that. The plan will change to finding pullbacks on the way down to these lows. And maybe that will be the play, especially with USD weakness coming to play. Maybe the yen basket is starting to gain some strength. I'm not too sure if it's really truly here, but I don't know. That counter trend line is not looking like it's holding very, very well at the moment. You know, potentially we could see price maybe look for a breakout here. It's hinting at it, but let's wait for the end of the day. Let's probably even wait for the end of the week really to really justify that, but it's hinting at it. So if the yen basket does push higher, USD already being weak, of course we'll see what FOMC happens. That could change, but let's have that expectation of weakness as of now. Dollar yen could look to tank, and if it does tank and it breaks out that range, breaks out the counter trend line, then yeah, I become bearish, and the plan will be looking to short it back to the lows. And dollar yen probably would be one of the pairs at the top of my watch list at that point, because I really like this support level. I've been expecting price to eventually get there. I have one high here, second lower high. Maybe we've already printed the third. My impression was price can probably make one more move to put the third before the drop. We kind of got a rough trend line connecting the highs. So I've been looking for one more push up, then the drop. But maybe we've already put it in. You know, sometimes the market isn't exactly proportional. So yeah, that could happen. But the focus will of course be, done a lot of drawings here. The focus will be this area here. So the trend line along with the low. This is where there's a lot of confidence right now for dollar yen. Now my plan is to see how price reacts here, and that will kind of dictate the play. If it's a strong break, like I said, short bias. If it's maybe a fake out and some rejection, long bias, entries, back to highs, maybe highs there. So dollar yen's something I'm looking at too, and then CAD yen as well, looking at some buys there. Hopefully nice swing to the upside. Earlier in the video, we mentioned a short position that the AI signal gave us. How is that doing? Looking pretty good, to be honest. Looking pretty good there. Nice counter trend line break. Of course, we have the yen strength coming into the scene. We mentioned this short on pound yen, which occurred just before we hopped into the stream. Where is it? It was this position here. We're now getting some buy signals as well. Again, there'll be a lot of signals with this opportunity. So depending on your bias, you can use it to aid you in terms of your confidence. But this short position looks like it's playing out pretty well, making a move back into lows. Not the biggest risk reward, but 1.25. It's bigger than the potential loss. I'm always a fan of that. Looks like it is dropping pretty well. So yeah, we'll see if that yen strength does really come into play. Break of structure, go, change of structure. I don't know what that means, Manzondi. I know break of structure, change of structure. I thought that was a break of structure. I mean, I know there's like different names for everything. Again, I'm very much kind of older school. So my focus really in terms of market structure is highs and lows and looking for the break of them. And I have my opinions on that, but I don't really go to too much detail in terms of the other stuff really, because I've never really studied that. And Dr. Pound used to coming down for a pullback, book partial. I'm already out of the position. I got trailed out earlier in the stream. Oh, look at that. Price came right down. So yeah, I was already trailed out here. Trailed out the position here, which was what, about an hour ago, 45 minutes ago. It was going well. Price came into the high there, saw some new highs. So that's when I looked to move my stops to break even. And yeah, I was trailed out there. But it looks like momentum stepped in here. So maybe it actually was a good break even. Of course, a good break even is a break even that stops you taking a loss. A bad break even is where it takes you out the trade and ends a win. And of course, you never really know which break even it will be until, hindsight comes into play. But looking bearish at the moment, we'll see what happens. Again, I do want pound USD to push down, not because I want it to be a good break even, but it's just because I'm still very bullish in pound. And if I can get some buys here, I'm very, very intrigued about that long position on the 4-hour chart. But yeah, I'm out that pound position. So there's no Mika's doctor of the chats. But yeah, I'm out of the pound position, so I am not really, well, I was going to say I'm not really too bothered with price. I am still bothered with price because I'm still looking to trade it. But that trade can do what it wants now. I'm out of the position. So yeah, that's kind of my take at the moment on USD. Going into the news later today, it'll be interesting to see. Again, I'll be back live tomorrow again, giving my thoughts. If I do get into any other opportunities, of course, I'll let you guys know. I haven't really seen many swing opportunities as of late. This is my first trade since last week, Monday, I think. I think that was the dollar CAD short I took. I think that was a Monday or a Tuesday. So first trading week, it's not even on the 4-hour chart. I do have a few which I'm looking at in the 4-hour. In fact, like I said, dollar yen is literally at the level. So this one, I could get an entry maybe in the next 4-hour, maybe 1 or 2 4-hour candles from now. And if I do get an entry just before the news, I probably wouldn't take it. But if I get an entry, let's say at 2 p.m., I probably would still take the position. Maybe give myself a bit more room in the stop. But I don't mind the turbulence there because I probably have some decent stops, some decent room there. But if price does break out, then of course I'll stay away. But on the 50-minute chart, intraday, the only two markets I'm interested in now is pound buys and dollar CAD sells, but dollar CAD's not quite ready yet, so a focus for now would just be with pound USD. Yeah, it does look like a buy to me as well. Just now waiting for the entry, because of course if you do see price break that aggressively, I'm not interested. It needs to reject well. But anyway, guys, we have come to the end of the stream. I hope you all found it useful and enjoyed it. If that's the case, drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. And of course, share with your friends. Hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you do want to see more content like this, going through the live market, sharing live trading, all that good stuff. So if you're interested, do make sure you drop a like and subscribe. But I'll be live again tomorrow, so we'll see the aftermath. Don't know what I said there. The aftermath of the FOMC news and the CAD news as well. Don't sleep on that one too. And then we've got Bank of England tomorrow as the stream does end as well, so that'll be interesting too. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in, engaging with myself. It does make the stream for what it is, so really do appreciate that, guys. But have a great day. Be careful with the news, and I'll see you all on the stream tomorrow.
6 AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. Exi, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.